According to the internet, 2026 is the year of analog. I didn't make this up, it's a legitimate thing people are talking about, and quite a bit, might I add. You might have seen it on your social media feeds, here on YouTube, or people you know just generally talking about it. But the general gist is that we, as an online society, if I can call us that, are starting to get a little bit tired of being online all the time. We're overwhelmed, we're anxious, and we're running a little low on money. So the solution, and what many people are drifting towards, is a more analog way of life. From using dumb phones to listening to CDs or vinyl, to avoiding our computers in favour of using notepads or pursuing hobbies that use our hands rather than a screen. You get the picture. The term analog is kind of being interchanged with physical media, so it kind of encompasses all of the things. And guys, I am 100% here for it. Passing trend or not, I'm in. I like this one. Because while participating in this movement, I guess, I have rediscovered so much enjoyment in life, and yes, this is bled right into my reading life too. Which of course is the topic of this video, because if you're looking to spend less time on social media in favour of reading more, or you just like to reduce the amount of influence social media has on your reading tastes, I'm going to address that. Okay, before we get into the bookish social media of it all, I first want to address the whole year of analog thing because it relates. I promise you. And as I talk about this, I'm also going to show you, probably with some clips, some of the analog or physical media things I've been enjoying this year. I think we can all agree that social media in particular is not doing our minds and health much good. We may have had our own individual stories of good things that have happened on social media for each of us personally. I'm not denying that. But as a collective, social media is designed to be addictive. You know, like a slot machine. Among many, many other issues. I've talked about this in more detail in a video before. So just using this one example, not even talking about subscription services, AI slop, infiltrating the internet on a mass scale, or our general feeling of loneliness, even though we're connected to millions online, more and more people are starting to look for alternatives. Ways to get away from our phone screens and back into the things that feel more real. In steps buying DVDs and Blu-rays and watching them on a Blu-ray player, listening to albums and vinyl you buy yourself and then play yourself at home, listening to those same albums on an iPod or MP3 player rather than on your phone, reading physical books, taking photographs with a camera rather than your phone, doing jigsaws, craft, and getting outside more. Basically, getting away from your phone and back into feeling connected to the things you love. Because listening to an album you have gone out to buy or found in a charity shop and just sitting and enjoying it feels, and I might add sounds, so much better than listening to it on something like Spotify. It just does, okay? Guys, I know I'm not alone, and I honestly think the wave of AI music, sheer number of expensive streaming services, and generally just the feeling of needing to be on my toes when looking at basically anything online now in case it's fake, has been wearing people down. So aside from my personal CD collection, why am I talking about all of this in a video about books? I used to post on Instagram at least a couple times a week. I'd post updates on my book buying ban, reels about reading, the odd book review, and generally just stuff that's similar to what I post on this channel. I have many reasons for putting my Instagram account on pause, but the one thing that tipped me over the edge was the amount of time I was personally spending on it. At the time, I had reduced the number of hours I was spending on my phone per day from around 6 hours to more like 3. But even that felt like too much. I was essentially giving a huge chunk of my free time to something I wasn't really enjoying at the time at all, when I could have spent that time on something else that actually made me a happier person. Since essentially being off the platform though, aside from getting my time back, something else happened. I began to fully understand what was going on with my own reading habits and tastes. Now, I'm not saying all social media influence is bad, because I've definitely found some amazing books through it, but since being away from social media, for the most part, my reading tastes and habits have drastically improved, from my perspective. Because I'm not constantly seeing recommendations and opinions from others, I'm able to think freely about what I want to read, what I'm actually interested in. I don't feel the pressure to read what everyone else is reading, and I don't feel the need to buy everything else everyone is buying too. Now for you, dear reader, you might not feel this kind of pressure. If you're part of the book talk or bookstagram or even booktube world, you might though. You might be feeling that your book buying habits or tastes are too heavily influenced by what you see on social media, or you might just be feeling overwhelmed with the constant content you're coming across. This kind of thing is exactly what the year of analog is all about. People are overwhelmed and tired of the constant barrage of information. They want to connect more with their interests and discover who they are and what their individual tastes are on their own. Like it or not, social media does tend to disrupt that, because if we're all being influenced by each other, I'm sorry to say, but some of our tastes blend together too. Algorithms work by giving you more of the stuff that's popular or the stuff that you've indicated you like through views, likes, comments, and shares. And when this happens, we don't really discover anymore, not like we used to. We are more likely to see content from people who think like us, act like us, and share the same values, which means individuality becomes less desirable, and jumping on a trending audio, buying the latest whatever it is, and posting the same kind of content becomes more popular. Even things that were once individual and unique.
Good afternoon, D&D, TikTok, and beyond, and welcome to Roll for Sandwich.
Good afternoon, D&D, TikTok, and beyond, and welcome to Roll for Pasta.
Welcome back to Roll for Clown, the series where I roll some dice to customize a clown cut.
Have been rehashed over and over until they become the same thing. And yes, I know this applies to the whole year of analog thing. Books aren't exempt from this though. If you're on social media and you're into reading, you've probably seen the same kinds of books doing the rounds, and at some point you may have felt like they kind of blend into one another. This isn't really anyone's fault, it's just how these platforms and algorithms work. You can try and fix it by following people who like different kinds of books or offer different perspectives, and sometimes that works, but before long the algorithm gets you and shows you the stuff that's widely popular. So if you're like me, you might be starting to think that your reading tastes have evolved into something that doesn't quite feel like you. It might a little, but perhaps something is missing. You're an individual person, right? So your life experiences, your interests, the things that make you happy are all unique to you. You might not be exploring all of those if your reading list mostly consists of books that you've been influenced to read. You might, but you might not. So if you're looking to explore who you are as an individual and pull back even just a little from social media influence, here are some options. To be clear, I don't have all the answers, but what I do have are some experiments I've been trying, and maybe you can give them a go too. The first of which is the most obvious, and then we'll move on to some more things I think are worth talking about in a little more detail. Experiment number 1. Try spending less time on social media. I know, sometimes this is a bit of a leap. I mean, it took me years to finally do it, and I'm just kind of taking a break really. But spending less time on it, if it's making you feel kind of rubbish, is a good idea. Give it a go for a while and see how it changes things. You can always come back to it. It's an experiment after all, so no pressure. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. The next few experiments are still worth doing. Experiment number 2. Look through your books. Okay, so regardless of whether you're on social media or not, our goal here is to develop, again, our own reading tastes. This might seem like a really silly thing to say, and I don't want to indicate that you don't think that you have any right now, but if you feel like you've been a little too influenced with your current reading, this exercise is worth doing. For this experiment, I would encourage you to go through your existing TBR or to-be-read list of books if you track them online. Essentially look at the books you already own and the books you want to read. If you don't track your books online, take a look at the books you have on your shelves or in piles around your house. I know you have some piles. While you're looking at all of this, think about the types of books that are there. Are you excited about reading them? Do they reflect you as a person and what you're interested in? At this point, you could remove, donate, sell, whatever, any of the books you don't think fit this if you want to. You don't have to, it's your experiment after all, so you set the rules. This is essentially what I did in a recent members video. I went through my entire TBR on the story graph and cleaned it out so it reflected only what I want to be reading when I start to buy books again. Experiment number 3, look inward. Now that we've had a good look at our books, we're next going to write down all of our interests, and I mean all of them, Travel, culture, arts, film, TV style, music, whatever. Get everything that makes you happy down on paper and be as specific as you like. Here's my list in case you need a nudge. Once you have this list, then think about whether any of these interests would be something you'd like to read a book about, or if the themes within your very unique person list could be fun to read about within a book. Experiment number 4. Read based on this list. Now that you have your unique person list, keep all of this in mind when you're looking for new books to read or adding books to your TBR. Do searches for books with those themes and give them a go. Ask friends who have similar interests if they read any books that cover them, and generally keep your unique interests in mind when you're in bookstores. This experiment's goal isn't to stop you from reading what you've been reading to date. If you enjoy those books, then obviously keep reading them. But if you'd like to add some more unique reads to you, some variety that suits you as an individual person, then start adding them in too. If you want, we can combine all of these mini experiments into one anti-influence experiment. Give it a go and let me know how you find it. Reading should be a fun process. We should be exploring our interests through it, enjoying those parts of ourselves that can come up in the stories we read about. These experiments could be a fun way of giving that a go. So, got any techniques to add? Leave them in the comments, and I will see you next time for another video.